What's up, guys? In today's video, the MMA world is still trying to process everything that happened at the historic White House card. Meanwhile, Topuria is recovering from serious injuries, but he is already talking about a rematch in Spain. And new details are coming out about how Gaethje survived Topuria's brutal body attacks. Dana White has officially announced that Islam Makhachev will defend his title against Ian Machado Garry. Plus, Alex Pereira responds to the controversial loss against Ciryl Gane. Josh Hoyt is ready to fight Alex Pereira, and so much more. Let's get started. The worst-kept secret in the UFC is finally official, guys. Islam Makhachev will be defending his lightweight title against Ian Machado Garry at UFC 330 this August in Philadelphia. Dana White dropped the news on the Pat McAfee show.
You know, we're coming to Philly. We got Islam Makhachev and Ian Garry, and you know we got a great summer slated. So I'm looking forward to it.
And honestly, Dana seemed way more excited about the UFC finally returning to Philly for the first time since 2019 than the actual fight itself. And the co-main event is a banger too. Mackenzie Dern is fighting Jillian Robertson for the strawweight title. So the summer is looking hot.
He matches up with Islam Makhachev.
He does well with Islam on the stand-up because he's rangy, he's tricky, all those. But on the ground, he doesn't. He does okay, but he doesn't survive on the ground. I don't think. I mean, well, okay, he might survive 5 rounds, but he won't get the best of Islam on the ground. That I'm 100% sure about that. On the stand-up, he's pretty tricky. So one punch can change everything on that. One kick, one punch, one knee. You know, so that's a different story. But on the ground, I don't see him dominating. I see him surviving possibly. So yeah, I can see that. But then the takedown defense that he has is decent, but not great enough to stop Islam from taking him down. But again, you know, sometimes we'll go in there and we'll decide that we're going to do this with Islam. And next thing you know, next round we'll say, okay, take him down now. Or next thing you know, next round we'll go stand up because he's not.
Meanwhile, Joe Rogan went completely crazy on his podcast, calling the UFC White House event the greatest night of fights in history. Rogan described the insane atmosphere and said that Topuria literally quit on his stool in the 4th round after burning out his gas tank while trying to finish Gaethje in the 2nd round.
The wildest experience that I've ever had in my 20-whatever years of calling combat sports. There's nothing even close. Nothing even close. It was the greatest night of fights of all time. The main event was the greatest fight of all time. It literally was the greatest fight of all time. Ilia Topuria, in many people's eyes, is the most skilled of the new generation, and the new generation is the most skilled of all time. And Ilia was like the top of the mountain. And most people thought that he was going to be too much, and he was too much for a while. And he almost took Justin out in the 2nd round. And then Justin rallied. And then Ilia, it looked like he got really damaged in either the 1st or the 2nd round. And he was having real trouble seeing out of one of his eyes. And then Justin started landing bombs in the 3rd round. Ilia had slowed down quite a bit. It looked like he had really tried to finish Justin in the 2nd. And sometimes when you try to finish a guy, you just hit the gas way too much and you can't recover in between rounds. And Justin recovered. And Justin started battering Ilia in the 3rd and 4th. And by the end of the 4th round, Ilia quit on his stool.
Now, if you've been wondering how Justin Gaethje built the kind of iron stomach needed to absorb Ilia Topuria's devastating body shots, UFC veteran Drew Dober may have just revealed the secret. According to Dober, Gaethje actually puts a standing bounty on himself during training camps. He offers $500 in cold hard cash to any sparring partner who can successfully drop him with a body shot.
Has that championship mindset and heart. I mean, he gives out $500 to anybody that drops him with a body shot in sparring. I definitely have tried to earn that $500, so I know he can recover from that, and he did. And he battered Topuria's face. I mean, it looked horrible.
Now, it sounds completely insane, but it actually makes total sense when you look at how he survived Ilia Topuria's brutal body attacks early in their fight. After his loss to Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje was essentially written off. Many people said he would never be the same again, that his best years were behind him, and that it was over for him. But he came back and made history. Now guys, you have to admit this is almost like a Rocky movie. There was even a villain from the Soviet Union in that story. And honestly, Ilia fit that role perfectly. Just like Drago, he came from Georgia, a former Soviet republic, and was an undefeated champion who many believed was almost untouchable. And Gaethje, just like Rocky, rose back up after painful defeats, disappointment, and endless criticism. But belief in himself and years of hard work paid off. This is already the perfect script for a Hollywood blockbuster, and I wouldn't be surprised if one day they actually made a movie about it. Now, Topuria has a chance to write his own story, his own Rocky story, if you will. A story about getting back up after a fall. So this loss will most likely become a valuable lesson for him, and it's very possible that the next time we see him, we'll be looking at a completely different fighter. But after the loss, Topuria received a huge amount of hate. A lot of people simply don't like him, and that is understandable. But what many fans don't realize is that in this sport, you have to be loud. You have to promote yourself and build interest around your fights. Not everyone appreciates that approach. After the defeat, false rumors even started circulating that his sponsor, Rashard Mill, had terminated its partnership with him, but that is complete nonsense. In reality, Topuria gained over 1 million followers on Instagram after the fight. His close friend Pablo Monto recently visited him and revealed that Ilia suffered a broken nose and fractures to both eye sockets. According to Monto, Topuria can barely open his eyes right now, but he looked at him and said, "Champions don't fall quietly. When we fall loudly." And despite everything, Topuria is already talking about a rematch with Gaethje, but this time in Spain. Alexander Volkanovski thinks that a rematch between Topuria and Gaethje would go differently. Volkanovski said that Ilia got too aggressive and rushed, but if he fixes his distance, he wins the rematch.
Wins the rematch, and that's man. There's no knock on Justin at all. It's just like obviously Ilia was a favourite for a reason, but yeah, I just think that Ilia, if he doesn't rush as much, fights at a little bit better distance, and then does what he usually does, sets up nice traps, he'll eventually find him. But yeah, being so aggressive is sort of what cost him, I believe.
I told you, pride comes before the fall. He was too cocky. He overlooked his opponent crazy, and he got humbled. And that's simple how it is. I think he's the better fighter than Gaethje, but he decided to let his pride get in before him. He thought he was beating me. He thought he was beating Terence Crawford. He thought he could fight. I think he even said something about Canelo at one point, that he could maybe box him one day or something like that. I mean, this guy's head was out of this world. I mean, he was going crazy after everybody, and that's the truth.
Might never be the same fighter.
Might, yeah. Really?
Because we don't know. He's undefeated. He got beaten badly, right? And I'm a fan of Ilia Topuria. Not only the way that he fights, the way that he carries himself. He's a really cool guy. He's a gentleman. There's no controversy. He's a cool guy. I think Josh Hockey battled him a little bit at the press conference. He was a little bit off all week because of the stuff from Hockey, and he pushed Justin Gaethje. I think he felt, he let his emotions get in the way a little bit. However, when you lose a fight like that, you've been beaten. Like Prince Nazim Hamed. I mean, he was destroying everyone when he lost one fight.
Nasty spotter.
And he was never the same again, right?
Yeah.
Now you can be beaten. There's that doubt in that. Who knows? Maybe he comes back and he's a better version of himself. Yeah. But we don't know until that.
Justin Gaethje recently chopped it up with Pat McAfee, and he did not hold back on why he thinks Ilia Topuria fell apart. According to Gaethje, Topuria's biggest mistake wasn't even physical. It was his massive ego and expectations.
It's so fast. We're like computers processing codes, and you're constantly making adjustments. And what really happened, I was able to reset his feet every 1 to 2 seconds. I was very diligent about it, and I fought a perfect fight. He was completely caught off guard. He was not expecting it. That obviously is another part of this whole game, is the expectations. I've said it many times. I don't go in with expectations, so that way I can never be surprised. And that's just the way I compete. And he took the opposite approach. And I said it before on your show, when we go to 2, when we go to 3, you're going to be in hell. And that's where he was.
MMA legend and UFC Hall of Famer Don Fry took to Instagram to send a massive shout out to his fellow Arizona native Justin Gaethje after that historic performance.
Justin is Don Fry, Arizona boy. It used to be me. I used to be the toughest fighter in Arizona, but now it's you. Congratulations, man. Hell of a fight there at the White House. You were the man.
Kamaru Usman weighed in on the madness between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje, and he actually gave Topuria a lot of credit. Usman said that Ilia walked into that cage with the absolute perfect game plan. He was successfully backing Gaethje up, putting him on his heels and forcing him to empty his gas tank just to survive. Topuria did everything he was supposed to do, but Gaethje's zombie-like durability was the ultimate X factor.
Fought bad, or Ilia was too prideful, or he was too this, he was too that. No, Ilia Topuria fought the way he's fought, and that's why we love Ilia Topuria, because he fights like that. He puts combinations on you, he attacks the body, attacks the head, and listen, we got to see a display of his ground game. Phenomenal ground game, passing the guard. He threatened armbar, everything. Ilia did everything he should have done, and then a lesser opponent, Ilia Topuria, walks out of there with that belt. But unfortunately, he ran into Justin Gaethje, a guy that knows how to, I've always said it, it's controlled chaos. It's controlled chaos. Justin knows what he's doing. It's just, he's just good at what he does.
Now think about it. He came into the UFC as an undefeated champion from another organization. He's won a bonus in every single UFC fight, became the first 2-time interim champ, won the BMF belt, and now holds the undisputed title. That is a wild trophy case. Bilal Muhammad is completely blown away by what Justin Gaethje did to Ilia Topuria. Bilal said that after that legendary performance, Gaethje officially stamped himself as the most violent and exciting fighter in the entire history of the UFC.
That boy has the most violent fighter in UFC history already stamped, the most exciting fighter in UFC history already stamped. Now he's undisputed champion. He's had basically every freaking title in the UFC now that he was able to get. I don't know what else is left for him. Just that McGregor fight. If McGregor comes out of that Holloway fight, Justin, cha-ching, right? That you're going to get that big money fight. Even the Holloway rematch, I think will be a big fight. Regardless, I think he's going to get that winner. I think that just puts Arman back again to the back of the bus. But he won $4 million if he really bet that $1 million on Justin. So I think he's sitting pretty. He can just do 50 more RAFs. But yeah, Justin, huge performance, man. I've been watching him since WSOF.
Number one question is, what does Justin Gaethje do next? If you're Justin, what do? You retire. Where do you go from here? You're never going to beat this. You're never, ever going to top this. You've done it all. BMF champ, interim champ, just beat the #1 pound for pound. There's no topping this. It's impossible. You were talking about retiring. You said, I'm going to retire if I don't get a title fight. UFC said, all right, we'll give it to you. Usually that doesn't work like that. We cannot beat this performance. We cannot beat this spectacle. This will be the best send-off of all time of all sports. The #1 thing he should do is walk away. He made probably $5 to $6 million minimum, just in bonuses, because crypto gave him $1 million, right? And the UFC gave him 800-something million. I'm sorry, 800,000. Well, that's 1.8 there. Then what the UFC paid him a few million for the title shot. I assume 5 to 10 mil ballpark. All he does is golf, has his dog, has his girl. The best thing you can do is walk away, dude. Walk away.
You just stopped. You made Ilia Topuria quit on the stool on the White House lawn with Taliban pants-shitting planes flying over your head with the president saying great job, going into the White House to do your post show. Do you fight Arman Sarukian at T-Mobile? Is that
There's no high better than that. That is better than any script that anybody could write. And yes, I know that there's going to be more money for him. I don't think he needs that. I think John's right about that financial freedom, and I think he would know more than us. But again, what's bigger than that? What is bigger than that? Please tell me, what's a bigger fight than that? The rematch, sure, but...
Alex Pereira just went on the Ariel Helwani show and dropped some huge news. While he's still upset with Herb Dean and wants referees to be held accountable before someone gets seriously hurt, he confirmed that he will not appeal the loss. Pereira said appealing doesn't make sense. Let Gane be the champ for now. Instead, Alex wants a clean, fair rematch in September. He claims that Gane only hit him like that because he was exhausted and lacked heart. Pereira's team has already asked the UFC for the rematch, and Alex promises he always comes back 10 times stronger.
Team asked the UFC for a rematch yet?
Yes, we did.
And what did they say?
They're going to get back to us because at the same time, that was on the night of the fight. We understand that the UFC had to go all over to make this event, took a lot from them. So they're going to get back to us. We're going to sit down and talk, and then we're going to...
Josh Hoyt just responded to comments from Alex Pereira, who apparently mentioned that he wouldn't mind sharing the octagon with him. Hoyt immediately fired back, basically saying that he would never say no to a massive opportunity like fighting Pereira. Now, what makes this completely mind-blowing is that Hoyt is only 4-0 in the UFC right now. Normally, a guy with that record wouldn't even be close to a former champion and global superstar like Pereira. But given how absolutely scrambled the heavyweight landscape is after the White House card, with Pereira demanding an immediate rematch and trashing the rankings, insiders are saying this matchup could realistically happen next. Ciryl Gane just touched down in France, and the airport in Paris was completely packed with French fans giving him a massive hero's welcome. Now say what you want about the controversy and the alleged shots to the back of the head, but the French fans do not care. To them, Gane is the baddest heavyweight on the planet right now, and the hype for his next move is through the roof.
Ouais, il y a un peu de monde, écoute, ils sont super gentils, les gens se sont levés, ça fait chaud au cœur, ça fait plaisir. Ça me fait plaisir parce que ça leur fait plaisir, tu comprends ce que je veux dire? Tant mieux.
Michael Chandler has finally broken his silence following his loss to Mauricio Ruffi. Despite the setback, Chandler remained positive, saying that true fighters keep moving forward no matter the adversity.
He's fast, he's accurate, he's a good striker, and yeah, he landed the shots that ended the fight. So here we are. Massive thank you to the UFC for the opportunity. Massive thank you to Dana for being a visionary who does one-of-one, crazy, never before seen, never to be seen again type of events. But as I said, we're happy, we're healthy, we're hard to kill. You have these moments in life where everyone's watching how you're going to respond. And I promise you, just as I always have, I will continue to respond like a champion. And it stinks because I know I prepared. I promise you I prepared to the best of my ability. Left no stone unturned in the preparation. I can rest easy knowing that I did every single thing that I possibly could. We lost, but you're going to take your losses in life.
Sean Strickland is back to doing Sean Strickland things.
Name, Lee Kim.
My name is Ethan.
Ethan, you got to be a stronger, better man, bro. Like, you would get in prison. Like, you would get straight in prison, dude.
But I got like a crazy Philly show.
Yeah, no, dude. No, you got like, no. I want to get this Chinaman some pussy, bro. He's 18 years old. He's a virgin. So if there's any fat women, maybe disabled, you know, maybe a slight handicap, autistic but not too autistic, you know, hook my boy Ethan up.
Classic Strickland. And then to top it off, Strickland tried to ride that infamous super fast playground slide in Boston and almost completely wrecked himself.
One thing, it's kind of weird that I'm the only adult here, but we're doing it.
Going down the side?
Sean Ali says Alexandre. Topuria refused to acknowledge him throughout UFC White House Fight Week, despite him shaking hands with the rest of the Topuria team. Sean says he doesn't understand why Alexander dislikes him.
But it's like, what are you gonna do? He's made fun of me. He's made fun of me. He's got ugly tattoos. Like, when the truth hurts sometimes, you suck it up. But his brother didn't look at me. I shook all of his team's hand, you know, acknowledged. But his brother did not look at me. Wouldn't look at me at all. Doesn't like
I saw him filming when you were hitting pads, though. I saw him filming when you were hitting pads.
I saw them filming me a few times when I was warming up.
I do think he was filming Ilia getting his hands wrapped, but he had you in it.
There's a couple times I went, ooh.
It'd be a clean opportunity. Oh, he's on him.
Locks off, and there it is, winning streak ends in 7. Wow.
And that's all for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. We'd really appreciate it and thank you in advance.